Hello, everybody. Welcome to DC Time. I'm Dean.
I'm Chris.
Thanks so much for joining us again this week. Happy to be here. This past week at work, someone made a comment, what is going on in this world? And there was something in the news, probably another one of these terrible shootings, or I don't even know the example they were using, but it was weighing on them what is going on in this world. And then, of course, within the work setting, there was answers given for that to maybe explain that, or maybe explain, well, and when one person said, well, maybe it's always been going on, we just don't hear about these things. Now, with boom, just at our fingertips,
Internet, yeah.
We know everything's going on in the world. So if there's anything that happens, bad news, boom, it's out there somewhere, and we're going to hear about it. We just want to start out this show by saying we recognize that we live in a present time that is full of evil, sin, death. It's devastating. We are there with you in that. We realize how tough that can be living in this present wicked eon. We know that. We get that. Don't always like that. So is there hope beyond that? What do we do about it? There's a great article from Unsearchable Riches that Chris shared with me, I think last week, and it's entitled Life and Peace, I believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Life and Peace. It has some wonderful things in there that we really both enjoyed, and we're talking about them this morning. And what's hitting us is, well, we rely on God. We know we rely on Him for life and peace, and for any glimpse of something greater to come, we rely on Him. We rely on Him for our realizations, anything we're going to learn. We rely on Him, not each other, not anybody out there, not any, no one's our head. Christ is our head.
Right.
You guys out there know that. We know that. It's good to remind ourselves of that. Now, we learn from all of you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And we love everything that's out there that we can learn from. We learn from each other. It's just saying, to really hone it in, we rely on a living God. So I'm going to read some verses here from Psalm 62. I thought it might be fitting. My soul waits in silence for God alone. From Him comes my salvation. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I will not be greatly shaken. Like that. Skipping down to 5, my soul wait in silence for God alone, for my hope is from Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my refuge. I will not be shaken. My salvation and my glory rest on God, the rock of my strength. My refuge is in God. Trust in Him at all times. All right, those are just some beautiful verses that are hitting us this morning. That's what we want to rely on. That's what we do rely on. That's where we gain our peace. It comes from Him alone. Even in, like I said, like I started this, even in this present evil time when there's corruption everywhere. Nothing makes sense. In our governments and worldwide things, our daily lives with each other, the way we treat each other as humans, our religious activities, all the different religions of the world, there's something that's not right with any of it. So we're finding life and peace within that. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So Chris is going to point out some things in this article they brought me that just, it sets you, it gives you an attitude, too, that you mentioned earlier in our talk. Where's the fear?
Yeah.
Even though it's bad.
Right. Where is the fear?
I love that.
And that's kind of what we're talking about in this evil eon, and gleaning the things that God still has made available to us, that gets us from point A to point B. Okay? Lots of times it's just my grandchildren coming in screaming pops and climbing up on me. That fills me up for the day.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, all these people that come in and out of our lives, this intersection that we all have with one another. I was on WhatsApp yesterday with Michael and Alicia and Sterling, and I could just go on, Rhonda, and my God, so many of you. I'm so grateful for you guys. Again this morning, such good stuff being shared there. And I think, I can't remember for sure, but I believe I shared this article on WhatsApp maybe a week or so ago, because I just found it so great. And it is talking about in this time and what we can glean to get from point A to point B. And not just scrape by. It's greater than that. You know, there's some greater truths that we can tap into. This is just a paragraph here. Amid the surge of city life, the brain is crowded with many thoughts, and God is easily forgotten. The hum of commerce and its ant-like concern for the visible and tangible things of earth tends to submerge the spiritual so that we ever require the one thing needful as our happy portion. Therefore, we would fain think often of God and of the Son of his love, and life and peace may be truly ours. Very, very obvious that the speed of our life today pushes so many other things out on our peripheral, you know. And that's why I think when he says submerge the spiritual, you know, push the spiritual away, because we're after that needful portion, whatever that one thing needful is, whatever it be. This, we can go to the scriptures here. Paul to the Colossians. This is what we're getting to, guys. Chapter 3, let's read 1 through 4. And this is our Apostle Paul. We're talking about that which we possess because of what Christ has accomplished. This is the secret administration. Very important to know. If then you were roused together with Christ, be seeking that which is above, where Christ is sitting at the right hand of God. Be disposed to that which is above, not to that on the earth. For you died, and your life is hid together with Christ in God. Whenever Christ, our life, should be manifested, then you also shall be manifested together with him in glory. This is not a might happen. This is not a wouldn't it be nice if this is the way it is, folks. For those of us who have been called into the body, into the secret administration. This is fact. Dispose yourselves to it. He says dispose, be disposed to that which is above.
I love that.
How do we do that, you know, today? This guy, William Meelan, we get many. Did you go? Would you read those there?
These
they're
Psalms.
expressions of
Right.
the Psalms. Listen to these words.
Yeah, this is moving on to Psalms 63rd chapter. My soul thirsteth for thee. My flesh longs for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is. That's what we recognized earlier. Of course, that's the land. You know, we can look at that even today. My soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth shall praise thee with joyful lips. My soul followeth hard after thee, thy right hand upholds me. There again, Psalm 63.
You know that my soul followeth hard after thee. That's a response.
Yeah.
That's not an occupation or a job or a performance. That's a response because he's opened your eyes to some truth.
Right.
And you're thirsting for more truth.
Yeah, we talked about that, I think, in the last few weeks. It's just, it'll overwhelm you, some of these things, when you get a glimpse of what Chris just read there in Colossians. And you start thinking on spiritual things or different things that don't fit right now in this time, in this evil time period. It's something above. But when you get a glimpse of that and you start believing that, or it comes over you, you're like, wow, this is really true. This is really going to be a future experience. That can give us peace. That can give us life and peace, like their article's titled, Life and Peace. What is that? How does that look? I'll just say, too, what's hitting me now, looking back a little bit at my journey, we've been talking about that, our journey as we go. I still was wrapped up, even coming on to some of these truths. It's amazing looking back how at one time it's coming out of my mouth almost as a condemning people around me by being caught up in this world. And at the same time, I was more caught up than I'd ever been looking at all the evil of this time period. I don't know if that made sense, if I expressed that.
Understand, yeah.
But I got caught up in that to where not only was I seeing so much of it, well, then I'm going to jump in that ring and battle it. And it was just a huge distraction. Yeah. And I learned through it. Thankful for all that time. But as I've expressed before, it's great to start removing yourself from that ring a little bit.
You think about what is already accomplished, and he's telling us we have a part in it already. I like this one line here. God alone can soothe the overcharged heart, and his quietness expel trouble. Be still and know. Okay, now this is tough. This is the one I want to make sure I can get through. This is beautiful. I don't know when this man's life went, but his writing harkens back to an earlier time. The way he writes, it's beautiful. And my father-in-law spoke very similarly like this, and I loved my father. He's a great guy. And it makes me think of Tom. Tom would have been all about this sentence, this paragraph. Our spiritual blessings among the celestials constitute our highest call to life and peace. Think about that for a second. Our highest call to life and peace. That's today. Yet even so, devoutness with contentment is great capital. 1 Timothy 6:6. And there are many humble souls who prove this, to whom higher knowledge has not come. Pure in heart, they see God in so many ways that their hearts truly sense his rare repose or rest. It is good to know such people of God, for they are life oases in the desert wilds. They just exhale life and peace. That's living today in this evil eon.
Yep.
We have that in Christ Jesus. It's a tremendous article. Like he said, it's in the concordant.org under digital publications. I've looked at it a number of times this week. I sent it straight to Dean. He was at work. I thought Dean would really appreciate it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, that we might lift our eyes to the great invisible, that such poise may be ours as to ensure a light regard for things of earth and a more deeply rooted affection for things above. For to be spiritually minded is life and peace. This is what we have reserved for us in the celestials. You know, our life, we died with Christ. We've been resurrected with Christ. Our life is hid in Christ. These are beautiful, untraceable riches that exist in this particular epistle of Paul's in Colossians. Beautiful stuff. And now, this entire time that Dean and I have been talking about this, prior to turning the camera on, my mind was thinking of those individuals who may turn this show on, and you might be going through some really difficult stuff. And I wanted to be mindful of anyone who is in a struggling place in their life. And we share this stuff as if this is easily accomplished. This is just, I've been on this journey for 25 years. And from moment to moment, I find myself vacillating back and forth in my flesh and my spirit. It is my desire that I continually move toward spirit. I want to impress upon anybody going through, God knows exactly what you're going through. God knows all about our suffering. He's a refuge for that. You know, his quietness expels trouble. Be still and know. That's good stuff.
It is.
Hang in there. That is what life is. We talk about it all the time. It's the ups and the downs, and all of it is purposeful. It's all a background of contrast for what is coming. You're in a great place, whether you're in suffering or you're in a good place. He's got you there.
Yeah, he's the master designer of our lives.
Yeah.
He's got a plan for each of us.
The logos, yeah.
And so we can trust and rest in that, even like I said, even in this chaotic time that we're all in. We all share in. So, well, hopefully that encourages you a little bit this morning. This article is awesome. Y'all check that out. Life and Peace, Unsearchable Riches. There on the Concordance site. Beautiful article to get your mind, thinking on these spiritual things that do bring peace. Be patient with yourselves, as we say. Be patient.
I love that. Be patient with yourselves.
Be patient with us, as we're patient with you all out there. And certainly be patient with those around you that are trapped, like we all are, in a world, a wicked, evil world of sin and death. And so when someone's trapped in that, in error, in confusion, in hurt, or whatever they're going through, be aware of that to help them. If you get a little foretaste, get a little glimpse of some of these wonderful things, well, what could we do other than help?
Yeah.
Shine a little light, love a little bit, point them in the right direction to the higher things that's to come for them. And they're not all going to see it, of course, now, but they will someday.
No, but you know what they do see? They see pure acts of love.
Oh, sure. They know that.
They feel that. Sometimes, we've read where,
Absolutely.
be still. And to be there, to be present with them is enough.
That's right.
Because you're making them a priority. And so don't discredit that. Making yourself available to a brother or sister who's in turmoil.
Yeah, and recognize, too, like I've done maybe more recently than I used to, recognize and think on these things for yourself personally. And recognize how out of this world, so to speak, these beliefs, like in Colossians, what Chris just read, and how it doesn't fit in this world. So it is way, way out there on the spectrum of thinking. So what are you going to get? You're not going to get acceptance from that. You're not going to get anything but, resistance. Somebody's going to be like, what are you talking about? That's great, right? We want that. We want, what the heck? You are nuts, like we said last week.
Right.
I'm a little cuckoo nuts. Yeah. You believe some of these things in Ephesians and Colossians that Paul's writing about? Who out there in the world would read that and not be the first response? Well, that's crazy talk. Well, that's okay. That's not persecution. I mean, that's not somebody beating up on you. That's an invitation to love them, to show them, yeah. Look at this awesome stuff.
And then also, when you say that, also think about yourselves when someone's shared these things with you and how you responded.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking, wow, he left me open to these suggestions and considerations. I know that I wasn't as open as I am now, but I've learned to open myself up to considerations of things. And my goodness, every time he just keeps lifting up another layer and showing me this, and it's come along a little farther with me. And look at this. So it's just good stuff all around. I mean, it's why we turn this camera on every week.
Yeah.
It really is.
Right. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. We enjoyed this. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.